Hi everyone, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic week. Well, I've been following this story for a couple days now. I wanted to hold off a little bit to report on it to see if there was more to come from it because it was just weird and no. So now I have to cover it only knowing what we know so far about the gentleman, 74 years old, who went missing on another cruise. So I just went off to Toronto. I was down taking some more cruising trainings with my niece Angelina. As you know, I'm bringing on board to learn all about cruising. There was a bunch of cruise industry representative. We had Norwegian, we had Carnival, we had Paul Code Cruises, we had Star Clippers, Crystal, Amma Waterways. We had a whole bunch of people down to teach us all a little bit about their cruising and what they have coming up. But I've been following this story with interest because at first it just sounded really, really, really sad. Every time we lose somebody at sea for apparent no reason kind of thing, it just is really a sad story. And here we have a story of a 74-year-old man who was supposed to go on this cruise with his wife, but his wife ended up having to stay behind to look after their granddaughter. As they were looking after she was there, he went on the ship, he entered the cabin. The last known footage of him was entering his cabin on the first night around 7 p.m. at night, and he was never seen again. Now they did discover footage around 3 a.m. of somebody falling overboard on the ship. However, the real strange stuff is none of this was like clear. The cruise line only discovered the gentleman was missing when he didn't show up to retrieve his passport on disembarkation day. So for the whole time of the cruise, they didn't know he was missing. So that lets you go, well, what kind of search could they have possibly done if they didn't even know somebody fell off the ship? The Sun is out there saying it took the cruise line a week to let them know that their father was even missing, and tell them that he was seen in the video footage falling overboard. But they did not go into any specifications of what the search and rescue was. As far as he knows, the Coast Guard was not called. It seems like nothing was done at all. In fact, this cruise line, which is Dream, it was the Genting Dream, which is a dream cruise line, an Asian cruise line market. If you take a look at their ships, they look an awful lot like Norwegian, but they're not Norwegian. It's the Dream cruise line. But yeah, that's the real scary part of this whole story. So the Sun says his first thing everyone thinks of is drinking too much. Well, he entered his cabin at about 7 p.m. at night. His son says his father's not a drinker and he's not a gambler. He also was not in any health issues, and he also did not have any financial issues. So he's really concerned that this was an accident where he actually fell over, and he says my father could be still drifting at sea and the cruise line has not notified anybody to go look for him. And that is the scariest part of this story out of everything. That there was no relief effort seems to have been done at all. At least, the cruise line never turned around. The cruise line never notified the Coast Guard from any stories that are coming out. If the cruise line did, they're not telling anybody they did. So it's just a very, very frightening situation for anybody thinking about cruising with that cruise line. They're an IATA cruise line. They're a main cruise line in Asia. It's not like some fly-by-night. If you notice the ships, they look like Norwegian ships because they're the same design. They're a good modern-looking cruise line, modern ships. And to have the fact that we didn't even notice you were missing at any point during the cruise, yeah, that is a really frightening situation. So the family, as you can imagine, is completely distraught. However, just because there's no financial issues or health issues or gambling or drinking, I have to stress that that does not necessarily mean there's not something going on with the person. Sometimes you never know what a person's going through or what they're thinking in their head. You never ever know this. However, big story, no alcohol involved is a big story. No financial, no medical, big story. That makes it look like there is a high possibility that this is one of those few exceptions where it was an accident and something fell overboard. No early warning cruise system, no detective, you know, camera-based detection on the side for as a warning. No, nothing. Sailing by yourself. Nobody knows you're missing. Nobody noticed you weren't there. And that is the worst. And that's the real reason that those camera setups and infrared setups and warning systems should be on ships. Because not everyone is sailing with a family. Not everyone has a bunch of friends on board. I cruise by myself 99% of the time. And if I go missing on a cruise ship, unless I'm seen going overboard, no one would ever notice unless they had that early warning system. So here's another example where that might have saved this gentleman's life. And a might is as good a chance as you can ever hope for. Well, let me know what you guys think down below. Do you think this is this is scary? I think it personally myself is really scary that no one ever even noticed. It sounds like they got back to port, said, oh, he hasn't checked out. We better tell the family he's missing. What the heck? What if he was on a 20-day cruise? Would they still have not noticed that he was gone for 20 days? That's horrible. That's a horrible thing to even mention. And then to not even tell the family for a week afterwards is crazy. That's nuts. So let me know your thoughts down below. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Till next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.